After practice, let us try this flower stitch. In this stitch, we use long and short needles, straight, buttonhole, contour, French beans, chrysanthemum leaf and satin embroidery. One thread is made of 6 strands. We can split it as we want. The divided embroidery thread is threaded on the needle. The thread should be long on one side and short on the other. Long ends should be knotted for embroidery. This leaf is embroidered with 3 strands of satin stitches. Satin embroidery means a straight line is embroidered between the 2 points of the pattern. Stitch after stitch until the pattern is embroidered full. Let's embroider from the middle of this leaf. This makes it easier to grasp the direction of the embroidery thread. These leaves are also embroidered with 3 strands of line 6 with satin stitches. Long and short needle embroidery, embroidering a straight line inside the pattern. Then a short straight line followed tightly. Repeat embroidery like this. This petal is made of this embroidery thread of 3 colors. This is the first layer. 3 strands of line 3 are used. After the first layer is finished, thread out the needle and then embroider the second layer. The second layer uses 3 strands of line 2. Because the pattern here is relatively small, so I embroidered the second layer into this petal's bottom. The petal in bottom is embroidered fully. In this way, when embroidering the third layer, you can embroider on this second layer. Third layer is embroidered on the second layer. Because the petal inside also uses line 2. So we continue to embroider this petal in second layer. This place uses long and short needles of lines 1 and 2. I took this long and short needle embroidery here in stained stitches for easily embroidering the next layer. This is the third floor, which applies the 3 strands of line 1. This stamina uses 6 strands of line 5 by French bean embroidery. The needle comes out through the bottom. Pinch the embroidery thread with your left hand and then circle the needle. Then this needle goes into the embroidery cloth. Don't loose the line on left hand and slowly pull the line in right hand. Be careful not to pull it too tight until the end. If it is too tight, this pattern will not be full. The 3 strands buttonhole embroidery of line 1 is used here. The needle comes through the bottom and takes a needle forward. Don't tighten this thread completely and thread out the needle. After the needle comes out, wrap the embroidery thread and repeat to do this. After this place is finished, thread the needle into the cloth next to this stitch. And then add a straight stitch here in the front. Repeat to do this. After this buttonhole embroidery is finished, embroider a layer of straight stitches with 3 strands of line 9 in this gap. Straight stitch means embroidery straight line between 2 points. Finally, use 3 strands of line 3 to embroider a layer of straight stitches. This place uses a 3 strands of line 9. In this gap, embroider a layer of straight stitches with line 3. These patterns are all embroidered with straight stitches. This place uses 3-strand long and short needle embroidery of line 1. Let us embroidery layer by layer in this way from the bottom of the petals, until this flower is embroidered full. This place uses the 3 strands of line 1 with chrysanthemum leaf embroidery. The needle threads out the cloth, then threads in next to the previous needle. Don't tighten this thread completely and then thread out on top of the petals. After the needle is out, put the thread over the needle and tighten it to form a petal shape. And then thread in the needle next to this stitch. Repeat to do this. After this chrysanthemum leaf embroidery finished, embroider a straight stitch in the middle of petals with 3 strands of line 4. This place uses 3 strands of line 2 by French bean stitch. Let's embroidery by the periphery of this pattern and then fill it up inside. Look at this contour embroidery. Needle comes through the bottom. Take a needle forward. Don't tighten the needle completely and then step back under the cloth and thread out in the middle of the 2 needles. Tense thread after needle out. Repeat to do this. So take a look that the needle I'm backing off comes out in this direction, other than this direction. Every stitch that goes backwards below must come out in this direction of the straight line of the previous needle. That is to say, the needle that goes back must be drawn in the same direction. 3 strands of line 7 are used here. I'm using 3 strands of line 6 with contour embroidery. This place uses straight stitches. Let's embroider according to the color of the renderings. These stamens and little flowers are stitched with French bean embroidery. Let's embroider according to the color of the renderings. That's all for this. Thanks.